During the war years, we in this country have seen many new faces, people from all parts of the British Commonwealth and Empire and from the Allied nations. When they are in the forces, we have learned to spot some of them. We know an Australian by his wide-brimmed hat, an Indian by his turban, a French sailor by his pom-pom and striped shirt. But when they are just dressed like anybody else, it is not so easy. What about these people, for example, who are making their way to Broadcasting House in London? Do you know what part of the world they come from? Are they from West Africa or the Union, from the Americas, or from some outlying island in the Pacific? Every one of these people gathered together in this studio is a West Indian. Every one has come across 4,000 miles of ocean from that great bay in the Atlantic which lies between North and South America, the Caribbean Sea. They have come from the long chain of islands which stretches from the Bahamas in the north right round to Trinidad. They call themselves West Indians, but they are of a dozen different races, descendants of the British and French and Spanish adventurers who opened up the New World, of the African slaves who were brought across to work on the sugar plantations, of Chinese shopkeepers, of Hindus and Muslims from India. Today, West Indians have common citizenship and common cause with us, and they have come over to help us. Each week, some of them broadcast messages home to their families in the West Indies, but this evening they are broadcasting to Britain.
Quiet, please.
We're all ready for you, Miss Marson.
Thank you, Tommy. Boston introducing West Indians in Britain. First of all, here is Larry Constantine, the world-famous cricketer. Larry used to be just a summer visitor, but when the war began, he became a welfare officer to the Ministry of Labor.
Hello, everybody. This is Larry Constantine. I'd like to say a few words about the many hundreds of West Indians who have come over here to help on the factory front. Here in a training center in the north of England are 82 of them. People from all walks of life, including doctors, lawyers, reporters from the West Indies. They're being taught side by side with Englishmen and women to operate all the latest types of machinery. In 16 weeks, they must know how to read blueprints, micrometers, slide rules, to set up and operate lathes, capstans, drills, and grinders. When their training is complete, they will go to aircraft or ordnance factories or machine shops. There are also others from several West Indian islands who volunteered and were chosen for their skill, and on arrival were immediately introduced into production in the united effort to beat Hitler and his gang.
War is in the air, all West Indians will do their share. That is why they came, and not seeking glory or fame, they will fight. Fight for victory, let us raise a cheer. They will fight, fight and never fear, victory is near. March, march, march to victory, march, march, march to victory. We fight land, sea and in the air, on to victory.
These men are gaining knowledge not only in the wide field of engineering, but in the workings of the British trade union system. Also, they are getting together with English workers in the factories. And this will mean a lot during Reconstruction after the war, when plans for a new era of life in the West Indies must be put into effect.
March, march, march to victory, we fight for land and sea and in the air, on to victory.
Thank you, Larry. And now I'm going to ask Flying Officer Ulrich Cross to speak for West Indians in the services. Ulrich is a navigator in one of our own bomber squadrons.
Well, it's a job to know where to start. There are so many of us doing so many different things. In the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, in Air Sea Rescue and the Marines. In the Wrens, the ATS, the WAF, and the nursing services. If I could navigate you on a magic carpet, we'd find West Indians at their stations all over the country, and in lots of other places which I'm not allowed to mention. me tell you a bit more about how one or two of us spend our time. The Spitfire Fund started in the West Indies, and attached to one of our own fighter squadrons is Sergeant Pilot Jimmy Hyde, who himself comes from Trinidad. He is reporting back from an operational flight. Hardly any of us had experience of flying before the war. The air routes between the islands were mainly run by the Americans. When peace comes, the increase in air transport should mean a new career for many of us who have now learned the job. Strictly speaking, Bermuda, British Honduras, and British Guiana are not in the West Indies group, but they are the only other British territories in that part of the world, and from them, too, many hundreds of people have volunteered to come over here. Lance Corporal Williams belongs to British Guiana, and she is in the Royal Army Ordnance Corps. She retreads tires in an army workshop. Here is a radio truck belonging to the Royal Canadian Corps of Signals. The two in the truck are the communication link between an outlying unit and its headquarters. Among these West Indians in the signals are some of the first Allied soldiers to set foot on the continent since the fall of France. They were in the Dieppe raid. These are some of the jobs we are doing. Together with others from the British Commonwealth of Nations, with men and women from the rest of the United Nations, West Indians are fighting for the new world that we all want to see. In Hyde's squadron, there are pilots from New Zealand, Poland, Britain, and Canada. Friendships are being made between people who, before the war, knew little or nothing about each other, and we find it impossible to believe that these friendships will just fade out when the war is won. The Allied nations will get together to ensure the future peace of the world. But you know, and I know, that it's when we meet in a canteen or on a job, then, for the first time, we try to understand each other, and real friendship begins.
For the islands, all of the islands in the Caribbean Sea. Yes, tales of the islands, song of the islands, and what they mean to me. In time of peace and in time of war, they're patriotic right to the core. They have fought, will fight to the final victory, Cape Valerio.
Thank you, Ulrich, and happy landings. Many of you will know of the good work the British Honduras lumberjacks have been doing in this country. This evening, we have one of them with us. He's Carlton Fairweather.
Well, I haven't got much to say, except that I represent 900 of us who have come over here to help your own forestry and timber workers. You used to get nearly all your timber from overseas, from places like British Honduras, but now you've had to fell it and convert it at home, and there's where we come in.
If Painter had a craze to rule the world, he started a war to conquer all. He put his friend Goebbels on the news to tell his tale on Allied views. To the painter he said, don't be sad, I'll tell the world that we have conquered Stalingrad and not that we were beaten, for that would be a shame. In the cedar grove on the tropical sun, we were cutting balata or tapping for gum. We sang as we worked, and happy were we, moving along from tree to tree, an axe and a saw and a shout, and down she go. That was all. We need to clear the road now. We're adding a rope in reserve for our artful when this war is o'er. Goodbye, little girl, goodbye. Just wipe up those tears, don't cry. Whatever I do, I will think of you. Your cheerful smile make life seems worthwhile. Goodbye to the Isles and you. Our love will remain ever true till the happy day when I'm home to stay. I'll dream, little girl.